What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 3. I'm going to be going over some of the changes, what weapons got vaulted, what weapons got unvaulted, the new augments, and some of the different gameplay changes that happened this season. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, comment down below what you think of Chapter 4 Season 3 so far, and if you guys do want to use me for support a creator when getting this season's battle pass, my creator code is just evolvejake, like my channel name is, and I'd much appreciate it. So the first change you're going to notice this season is the new jungle biome that was added in the center of the map. This replaces Anvil Square and whatever else was kind of in the center of the map. But now we have Shady Stilts, Creaky Compound, and Rumble Ruins. And like I said, this is a jungle themed biome. I'm not the biggest fan of it personally. It's very like dense and there's a lot of verticality to it, and with some of the loot pool changes that happened this season, I think it makes it kind of difficult to navigate, but I'm sure a lot of people will love these POIs. Of the new ones so far, I think Creaky Compound is probably my favorite of the new ones. But yeah, the new biome is here. We have a few new items. The Flapjack Rifle, which is a bloom-based third-person assault rifle, has a decent fire rate and damage and a 45-round mag. I think this is pretty solid, and I definitely think it's better than like the Havoc era, which is what we had last season as the bloom-based assault rifle. And there is a mythic version that you can get from vaults, which we'll get to later on. The thermal DMR was added. This replaces the Cobra DMR. I wasn't the biggest fan of this from what I used, but I also really haven't enjoyed any of the DMR weapons that much. But when I was streaming this, there was a lot of people coming to my chat saying that like they loved the DMR and they loved the Cobra DMR, but the thermal DMR just isn't it. We got the Kinetic Boomerang, which a lot of people thought would be the season's mobility item, but it turns out this is just a weapon. You throw it at people, it hits them, and then it can also hit them on their way back to you because it's like a boomerang. You can throw it and then decide to pull it back to you. There's a Cybertron Cannon, which is like a big missile launcher, and then there's also wasps you can collect, kind of like fireflies, and they work as like an AoE damage item. You throw them down, and then the wasps just kind of be annoying to whoever is near them. The unvaulted weapons we got this season are going to be the Drum Shotgun, which is super annoying, the Combat SMG, and the Thermal Flopper. This is a fish you eat, and it gives you thermal vision. And then the Combat SMG is really good submachine gun. We had it in Chapter 3. From what I've used of it so far this season, it feels like off to me. I don't know why, but it felt very weird using this weapon. Maybe I'll get used to it again. I'm not sure, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the Combat SMG when I played today, and in the past, it was like a very insane item. The vaulted weapons this season are going to be the Combat Shotgun, the Twin Mag SMG, and its exotic version. The exotic Red Eye, but the regular Red Eye is still in the loot pool. The Chug Splashes were vaulted. Shield Bubbles were vaulted. The Attack on Titan Mythic, so the ODM gear and the Thunder Spears. The Web Shooters. The Mythic Havoc Pump. The regular Havoc Pump is still in the game. The Overclocked Pulse Rifle. The Cobra DMR. The Lock-On Pistol. The Shield Keg. And the Dragon's Breath Sniper. Again, all of those weapons were vaulted. They're no longer in the general loot pool in Battle Royale. So a lot of things were vaulted, but that's kind of the way Fortnite seasons go. They add things in a new season, and then they kind of add things week to week. And then when a new season comes, we get a lot of things vaulted, and then only like a few of like those core items remain. So the Red Eye is still in the game. The Havoc Pump is still in the game. The Maven Auto Shotty is still in the game. The Heavy Sniper is still in the game. And I feel like those are going to be the weapons that people are most concerned about when it comes to like the core weapons that returned. The legendary Slurp Juice is also still in the game, which we're going to get to now. There's now two different types of vaults. The high card vaults are back, surprisingly, and high card will spawn in second zone, just like last season, but the difference is now he isn't guaranteed to spawn at every vault location. There are 5 spawns for him, and I think every game he'll spawn at 3. So last season, we only had 3 spawns: Brutal, Mega City, and Shattered Slabs. Those 3 will return, but he can now also spawn at the mansion outside of Frenzy Farm, or like kind of the mid-map castle area where the man used to sell the Shockwave Hammer. And so you can't land at a vault location and then know for certain that he's going to be there, because it just chooses 3 spawns every game for him to be at. And so you could get unlucky and land at a vault where there's just nobody there. It's kind of weird. I almost feel like if they're going to go for this, I understand what they're doing. It kind of reduces some of the repetitiveness of the vaults, but I almost kind of think it'd be better if you knew when you were landing in, like when we're on Spawn Island, which vaults he was gonna spawn at in that given game. That way you could like change it up from game to game, but people would at least know when they're loading in which vaults he's gonna be at. And then Like last season, he'll drop the mythic Havoc assault rifle. The Havoc AR is still in the game. But now when you open the vault, instead of getting the mythic pump, since that was removed, you get a mythic version of the flapjack rifle. And this is just like the flapjack rifle with 1 extra damage. It is a good weapon for sure. I think the flapjack rifle is really, really solid. But it's not like this is like a like groundbreaking mythic, you know? Just 1 extra damage. It's nice to have if you enjoy using it, but it's not insane. And then there's also Slurp Juice and the Vault still, just like last season. And like last season, there are combat caches. So if you don't want to go for the Vault, if you don't really care for the Flapjack Rifle that much, you can just choose to opt out of it and then go for the combat cache in 3rd zone. I would recommend trying to get one or the other, or both if you have the time, because the Legendary Slurp Juice is still like the best healing item in the game. And there's also vaults in the new biome that are opened by doing a puzzle. I didn't really interact with any of them too much. But from what I've seen of people opening them, they don't have a mythic or anything. It's just like several chests and legendary chests. So it's like, it's nice loot to have, but it's not like really game changing, like you need to go there. Also, like last season, the island will spawn in 4th zone. And just like last season, it drops a mythic, and that is going to be the mythic drum shotgun. So if you capture the island, instead of getting the pulse rifle, now you get the mythic drum shotgun, and this weapon is insane. I think the drum shotgun is likely going to be the meta in 0 builds, but the mythic drum shotty is even better. Like, it's just extra damage. And one like core difference between the mythic and the regular drum shotgun is the mythic benefits a lot from aiming down sights. And that helps deal with like the inconsistent nature of the drum shotty, because it has such a large spread that it's really inconsistent past like 5 or 6, 7 meters. Like, it's inconvenient to use this gun at any sort of range. But with the mythic version, you can aim in, and that tightens the spread a lot. It's still not gonna like destroy people across the map, but it makes it usable at like 12, 15 meters, something like that, which is something that not a lot of players expect out of the drum shotgun. And I myself was like caught off guard with it when I initially aimed in with the shotgun, and it had like pretty solid range. So I think this season will follow a very similar gameplay loop to last season. I don't think the vaults are as important as they were last season, because like while the flapjack rifle is nice, the difference between having it and not having it, I don't think is as big of a deal as like getting the mythic pump was last season. The slurps are really good, so I think you'll definitely want to go for the vault for them or go to your combat cache. And then I think by 4th zone, you're definitely going to want to go island, because the mythic drum shotgun is very insane. So I do think this season will follow a somewhat similar gameplay loop to last season. One way this season is very different from last is that there's no mobility in the game right now. And that's a huge change, and that makes 0 build very different. This is the first season of 0 build that we've had with no mobility in the game at all, really. The only mobility we have is like cars. You can ride the wildlife, which the dinosaurs are back, and you can ride them if you just jump on them. There's mud in the new biome, which allows you to slide further. There's like the grind rails in certain spots, but there's no like quick reposition mobility. There's nothing like shockwaves, the bow, the hammer, the katana, nothing like that. And that makes the game very punishing if you're ever caught in a bad spot. It makes getting third-partied very difficult to deal with. Another thing that makes getting third-partied very difficult to deal with is just the weapon meta this season. A lot of players are going to be using the drum shotty, and when you have a fight with 2 people using the drum shotty, they just kind of trade damage and one player is left alive. So I think getting third-partied is pretty much a death sentence. And I've had people tell me like, oh, but you're going to get third-partied less because there's no mobility, so people can't get around. And while that is true to an extent, the flip side of that is it's very hard to end fights quickly without mobility in the game, because like you might tag someone up a bunch, and then like pushing them to finish off that kill is just like very inconvenient to do because there is no mobility. And the game plays out very weird. I think having bunkers are very, very important right now in 0 build. If you're not carrying bunkers, you're gonna have a much harder time than if you are. The slap juice can be helpful, but like it changes 0 build a lot, and it changes how you can play fights. And I feel like the entirety of the game is much more just like not necessarily avoiding fighting, but like definitely playing more passive and just playing for positioning endgame. And while that can be skillful to some, it also can create situations like this one where I end up winning this game, and the only reason I win this game is because I pulled zone. It's a 1v1. Zone pulled my side, so it's much easier for me to rotate than this other player. If he pulled zone, he would have won, and that's the entirety of the game. Like, he didn't have bunkers. I didn't have any more bunkers. There's no mobility in the game, so it's just like whoever pulled zone pretty much won the game. And that's one of the more annoying things about 0 build without mobility. And then I also feel like any sort of zone that goes up a hill or anything like that is going to be just way more inconvenient to deal with. There are also a few new augments this season. The Primal Companion will give you thermal vision and health regen while riding animals. I think this is one of the best augments in the game because riding animals are really, really nice right now. It gets you around the map faster with the lack of mobility, and also when you're on the animal, if you're in like a medium range red eye fight, your strafe speed is really, really good. And then also if you want to push somebody while on the animal, the jump is pretty nice for pushing them. So I think using animals is key, or like really helpful right now, and this augment makes it to where you heal on animals, but you also have thermal vision while on them, which is going to make it much easier for you to find any enemy players. The Wild Wasp weaponry will give you the Wild Wasp jars, and then you will receive another one for every elim you get. I don't really ever see myself using this. Sprint lines gives you the slap effect, so unlimited sprint for a period of time. Whenever you use the grind vines, rails, zip lines, or ascenders, those are like the just straight up zip lines. This can be helpful, but it's not really that big of a deal. Shell slide gives you shotgun shells while sliding. Again, can be helpful, but not that big of a deal. Swift shotgun reload makes you reload shotguns faster. I think this can be incredibly helpful, especially if you're using something that goes through ammo quick. Like the drum shotty or the exotic Maven shotgun, which is still in the game. If the Ranger shotgun gets unvaulted anytime during the season, that will be a really good combo. The Reckless rifle makes you reload faster if your assault rifle is empty, and medium ammo acquired gives you a mag of medium ammo when you take the augment, and then for every container you open from that point forward, you'll continue to find ammo. So that is going to be it for this video. Just kind of wanted to go over some of the basics of this season. If you're looking for a loadout to use, I would say Red Eye, Drum Shotty, your choice of spray weapon, but the Flapjack rifle is really nice. You can just not use the spray weapon and then have extra heals if you want. The legendary Slurp Juice and Bunkers. I will have a loadout video later on when I've been able to play more, but as of this point, I've only won like 5 or 6 games, so I don't have the most experience in-game, but that has been what I've used most of the time. But let me know down in the comments below what you think of this season. I know a lot of people are going to be forming a lot of their opinion based on the lack of mobility. There's some people that really hated mobility and feel like the game should just be like very just campy based, like whoever gets to a good spot first kind of has a huge advantage. I personally don't agree with that, but either way, when a new Fortnite season comes out, it's not like 100% of the content for that season is in the game. There will be updates over time. There will be items added. There will be items, unvaulted. And so I'm pretty sure at some point there will be some form of mobility item added in the season, just not there at start. And it definitely will make us appreciate it more when it is added to the game. But let me know down in the comments below what you think of this season. Remember to give it a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you'd like to see more. And if you would like to support me in the item shop, use code EvolveJake when getting this season's battle pass. Thanks for watching.